What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, giving you guys a nice little replay of what has become easily my favorite deck and archetype in the entire game to play, and shockingly enough, that is Gem Knights. I've never really talked too much about Gem Knights throughout the years because I've kind of just looked at them as, a little bit of an underwhelming fusion archetype that was never super competitively relevant. It's kind of like a watered down version of Shadows, and there is an obvious connection there because of the whole dual terminal lore between Shadows and Gem Knights, and pretty much Shadows are just like the better version of Gem Knights. But if you play this just from a casual standpoint, this deck is so much fun, and it's actually pretty good. I'm not saying that you're gonna be knocking down Monarchs and Burning Abyss and PK Fire left and right, but if you're not playing against the try hard top tier stuff, it actually can do some impressive stuff, and it actually can be hella fun. Now when Clash of Rebellion came out, Gem Knights got some support, and honestly, I overlooked everything except pretty much Brilliant Fusion. And the only reason that Brilliant Fusion was even on my radar is because it spilled so much into the meta. Like, you couldn't ignore Brilliant Fusion because it just was popping up everywhere in so many different versions of Pendulum Magicians and, Performa Power decks that you pretty much had to take notice of the card. But cards like Lady Brilliant and Absorb Fusion, I really didn't even know about these cards because, they really weren't on my radar. And honestly, the only reason that Gem Knights got the support that they did was because a character in the anime named Masume, she actually plays Gem Knights. So if it wasn't for the anime, I don't think Gem Knights would have even gotten these cards, because again, Gem Knights they've been around for forever. Their story in the dual terminal has been done, so there really wasn't any reason for Konami to give them more support. But again, they've got a character in the anime, so it did make sense to give them some new cards. And hopefully when they go back to the standard dimension, this is probably going to go over your head if you've never watched the anime, hopefully she gets another duel in, which means that she might get even more cards, because she had kind of had a rivalry with the girl who plays Melodious. She had a rivalry with Yuzu on the show. So let me just go ahead and shut up and show you guys the duel. So I'm playing against, let me pause right quick. I'm playing against a version of, it's like an XYZ deck, but not XYZ in the sense of the monsters or the extra deck monsters, but XYZ in the terms of these effect monsters. And he's also mixing in some ignites, and again, starts off with a pretty standard play. Now, I've got a pretty good opening hand. Absorb Fusion is kind of like a rota for the deck. Unexpected Die gets you a Garnet straight from your deck, and I can pretty much just search out my copy of Gem Knight Fusion. So I do that. I search out Gem Knight Fusion with Absorb Fusion. Then I play Unexpected Die to get me a copy of Garnet. I've got my 3 copies of Gem Knight, so I'm just going to go ahead and fuse for Lady Brilliant Diamond, and Obsidian activates, which gets me Pearl. I then tribute the Pearl to get Brilliant Diamond out, and I've got a really good field. Now, my favorite card in this entire deck is her. She is so good. I actually kind of want to build this deck in real life. I just know that it's never going to be that competitive, but she is, oh my god, this card is so ridiculously good. Because there's so many ways to get normal monsters and Gem Knights back from your graveyard to the field, and then you can distribute those to summon Master Diamond, and then you basically have a field of 6,600 damage, which is pretty legitimate. Now, I did make an obvious misplay here. I don't know why I just went full stupid. I don't know why I didn't set my Twin Twister. He activates 1 day a piece, and I'm like, okay. So he essentially stops the bleeding here. Because you see with Armadillo, he doesn't have any defensive cards. He would have just lost there, essentially. But once again, I don't set my Twin Twister because I'm an idiot. And that allows him to pendulum summon all over my face. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to lose my entire field. And he actually starts pretty much going YOLO here. He goes for Bujin Tsukuyomi, which I was kind of surprised. I was like, wow, you don't really see that card played that much. And then he goes and he pops his cards and he starts normal summoning, searching some Ignites. He 101s. So my, my Brilliant Diamond, my Lady Brilliant Diamond, she's absorbed. And then he banishes with the ABC Dragon Buster. He ends up blasting away my Master Diamond. So when you look at the duel, he's basically completely flipped the script. Not to mention, he does a mess load of battle damage. He actually gets me down to 2,800. So, I mean, he essentially went from a field of nothing, where he would have ultimately lost the duel had it not been for 1 day apiece, to pretty much me having nothing on board and, under 3,000 life points, and him having 5 monsters on field. And of course, this card being pretty damn good because it's a quick effect and it, just gets shit off the field. So at this point, I'm playing defensive. I decided to just go defensive, set all my cards. I set the Twin Twister finally because I'm not that dumb. Set my Solemn Warning. He activates Tsukuyomi again. He ends up popping my Solemn Warning, and or he ends up banishing my Solemn Warning with Dragon Buster, and I was like, thank God, because it opens him up to falling into the Drowning Mirror Force. He couldn't uncontact there because he didn't have enough open field zones, like he didn't have enough open monster zones, so that was pretty much good. And then during the end phase, I'm gonna blast him with Twin Twister. I'm probably gonna pitch the Gem Knight Fusion because you can just get it back from from your graveyard at will, and it's really good that I top decked Armadillo, which is essentially Gem Knight Stratos. Now, I don't know why for some reason they didn't make Armadillo a Gem Knight. That would have made this deck infinitely better, but you see I basically fuse right back into what's it called. You see all the ways that I'm getting my normals back, but I fuse once again for Brilliant Diamond, and this is where Gem Knights become actually like really sick. You see I get my my Garnet back. But this time, instead of going for instead of actually going for Master Diamond, I actually go for Lady Lapis. Now, Lady Lapis, the fusion, she can actually burn your opponent 500 for each special summon monster on the field, and it counts my field too. So I actually burn him for a ton of damage because everything on the field except Armadillo has been special summoned. So I think I burnt him for like 2,500. But no, this is not. We're not done yet. I activate Lapis again. This time I activate another Brilliant Fusion. Then I then I fuse into Master Diamond, and then I actually end up copying Lapis's effect, and I use Lapis effect again to burn him for another 2,500. So I actually burnt him for 5,000 direct damage just in this one turn by just using Lapis over and over again. So even if he had like 8,000 life points, I would have been able to clear his board completely. So I think I would have still been in a really good position, but it's just a nice little duel with Gem Knights. The deck isn't a great defensive deck, but it does have a lot of like aggressive plays. And again, it kind of has like a watered down version of something like Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. You don't get to blow up the monsters, but Lady Lapis does, it does do the burn damage just like a card like Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. So just showing you guys a nice little duel with Gem Knights. I'm telling you guys, if you're looking for a fun little casual deck to try and mess around with, consider playing Gem Knights. The Clash of Rebellion support is really not that old, and the deck is a lot of fun. So thank you guys for watching as always.